It's a pleasure to welcome you back. I'm going to cast this series all by myself with my good friend, the Grub Chair. What's up, everybody? It's good to have you. Thanks for tuning back in on the HeroesHearth Warcraft 3 Fight Night. It's a pleasure and honor to introduce, or welcome back, rather, two stellar players of the European scene. We've got the reigning champion, Neytpoh, aka Neutron, whatever you want to call him, that's fine. He officially confirmed it's even fine if we call him Bob, so don't worry about that. And we have the Swedish rival, the Swedish challenger. For the first time showing up on stage, it is going to be a community darling from Sweden. It is KnOfF. And Grubby, we have a revival of 2 weeks ago. We have the same races clashing into one another once again. How excited are you about this?
Very much so, Kendric. And thanks for waiting for me, by the way.
No problem.
Logan took a little bit longer. It's my dog. I'm very excited about it because I think this is the first time we have a repeat matchup. Correct, Kendric?
That is true. We tried to switch it up as much as possible, guys. We're trying to avoid mirror matches because they might not be everyone's cup of tea. But I'm pretty sure at some point we're even going to spoil you with that one. But yeah, first time we have a back-to-back matchup, Orc versus Night Elf here. And last time we did have a Night Elf victory. In fact, we had several victories now from Neytpoh, looking very, very good at the moment. And is it safe to say that he's actually having a spike in performance here in Fight Night? I think he's looking really, really strong.
So I remember Neytpoh was a very dangerous player back in the days when I was actively competing, and he was definitely someone to be feared. I would say he was top 3 probably top 3 Night Elf at the time, and generally I would be expected to defeat him, but it would never be easy. He's very strong, great micro, He has a good head, nice strategies. And it was just a little bit short of being able to make it on the world stage as a true world-class top player. I don't know where exactly it was lacking, but he's very close to it. But when he came back, he was just good. But it's indeed only been a few months that he's really shown that sharpness that you need to expect from a top player again. And he promised he's going to be very sharp this series. He said in that interview with you, man, he was spitting straight fire like he was Daenerys' Drogon. He said he'll try to make show matches fun. He was having good games with Spiral. Try this, try that. But he heard a little bit of smack as he perceived it from KnOfF. And he said this time he's going to win 3-0. And I could see you, Kendric, squirming in your seat like 3-0, really? Or at least I felt it. And you said, would you be upset if it's 3-1, 3-2? He's like, no, it's going to be 3-0. No doubt.
I have never seen him this stern, this concerned, and this just straight up focused, on his prey. I think he's got KnOfF. He probably printed out a picture, put it above his bed with a, crosshair on it, and he's been doing nothing but preparing for this matchup. And KnOfF, on the other hand, we also have to give him a little bit of the limelight here. He's a player that's been in the scene forever, almost, it feels. A long history in Warcraft 3. He's a community darling. I think a lot of people really like him for his cheerful personality. He's a really great guy. And although he might not have the reputation of a Neytpoh, I think recently on his streams, he's looked very, very strong. I actually watched his stream several times, and he beat people like Taut on the ladder. When he's in good shape, I think when he's in the zone, I think he can cause a little bit of an upset here today. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. The first I learned to get to know KnOfF was maybe 13 years ago, or maybe even 14 years ago, when he knocked me out of a Blizzard tournament to qualify for BlizzCon in the first round. I was like, all right, I'll never forget this guy. And I never did. I didn't like him much then, and it had nothing to do with his sparkling personality, but just that he beat me. But I have learned to respect him since, even more so. He's a great player. He has a sunny personality. He's a fitness instructor or something.
Yeah, personal trainer, right? I think, yeah.
Yeah, and he's a good guy. He did admit that he did say that Neytpoh was a little overrated, which is what sparked Neytpoh's fire. But he didn't mean it in a bad way, and he respects Neytpoh, and he hopes it's going to be a great game. So he's trying to depressurize himself in this match.
And that's what it's all about, guys, right? The friendly banter, a little bit of back and forth punching, but nothing serious. It's all a good spirit. The players like each other. We like the players, and I hope you guys are going to like the matchup that they're going to present to you guys. The first map that we're going to have in this best of 5 is going to be Last Refuge. So we're diving right into the action here. We see in the blues our good friend from Russia. We have Natron, the current champion as well, in the fight night, and the challenger this time in the reds. We have KnOfF from Sweden. And yeah, Grubby, let's talk a little bit about the playstyle that we've seen 2 weeks ago from the Orc player that we saw there. Spiral, actually considered to be one of the strongest, if not the strongest Orc in Europe right now.
Yeah, Spiral went 2-3 score against Neytpoh, and the two...
1-3, I think it was.
1-3, yes, 1-3. He went 1-3 against Neytpoh, and he had 2 games where he was winning or ahead. He threw one of them, and he won the other. And then he had a game which was Last Refuge, the opening game. He did a non-Voodoo Lounge opener and tried to guess where Neytpoh will be, which is a very risky move in a show match.
Yeah.
Orcs don't scout a lot. They don't have the resources to do so. And we make a lot of judgment calls about where an opponent is going to be based on standard expectations. But doing that in a prepared show match is risky, and he paid for it. And then he lost the Farseer game. He had no chance at all with Farseer on Amazonia.
Yeah, that was
there's going to be a few differences already, because first of all, Amazonia has been removed by KnOfF.
True.
Whereas Neytpoh removed Turn a Stand.
That is true. So Amazonia, let's just call it like it was. It was an ugly match. It was Neutron. He was like a boa constrictor, slowly but surely squeezing the life out of Spiral with mountain giants. He contained him in his base for the majority of the game, and there was nothing really that Spiral could do. He was countered, he was scouted, he was contained from start to finish. And let's see what we have here, KnOfF. I think what I like about this matchup today, Grubby, is that on the one hand side, we have Neutron, who might actually go for some funky stuff as he promised in the interview, but on the other hand we also have KnOfF, who is considered to be the underdog, and sometimes when you are the underdog you play without pressure. You're like, okay, there's nothing to lose, I can go. If I lose, no one would have expected me to win, but if I pull out something fancy, if I play out of my mind, the glory is all to be mine. So I can't wait what these players are going to show us in terms of funkiness and maybe unorthodox playstyle.
Yeah, same here. Let's see what it's going to be. So we can see for now that KnOfF is going to go for a no-shop opening with a guess direction again. But this time he's going to creep a Troll Priest level 4 using AI manipulation, which is a legit move in this game. It's part and parcel of the game, to prevent the casting of Inner Fire and healing, making this a pretty easy camp to creep. So instead of throwing everything on a blind harass, he has gone for the creeping. He picks up an illusion, and his grunt has spotted that the keeper is going for his base. So he's gonna come home to defend his burrow. That shop though, that one will get cancelled for sure.
Yeah, the shop will be cancelled. Looks like Neutron might even be prioritizing the burrow. No, he's trying to move out a little bit. He was a little bit afraid of getting surrounded maybe there in the choke point near the altar and the shop. What I also like about Neutron's attack here is they brought a wisp, or at least he has one nearby on the right-hand side. So if there was, any shenanigans, for example, an illusion or something, he would have a wisp there just in case. It's also a nice scouting source, of course, to provide like additional vision.
Yes, that's true, Kendric. And this wisp location, it doesn't see a lot. It sees a little glimmer, actually, a little bezel of info, but it's untouchable by melee.
Yep. All right, we see the aggression still persist, continue, and with the reinforced treants, of course, new treants coming in, he might be able to cancel. No, he's actually saving it very nicely and has the peons as an emergency repair squad immediately. Nice save there. This would have been quite the hassle, quite annoying if KnOfF had to rebuild the store here. So very, very nicely done by him.
Good job by KnOfF to immediately buy Heal Solve and Speed Scroll. That means he doesn't need to stay at home to get it later. He can now go on the map and sustain his own Blade Master.
Yep.
It looks like he's getting a Dust of Appearance. He's using illusions to check for some scouts. He sees Tree of Life here at the Murloc camp. He can actually use illusion to pull the Rock Golem. I wonder if he will do so, because this camp is not entirely safe. There is no entangle. Blade Master's coming in. He's not using the illusion to go for the Rock Golem, and he will use the Blade Masters to steal the creep. Nice steal by KnOfF.
Nice steal indeed. That's going to be a big chunk for the level 2 on the Blade Master, but more importantly, I think he prevented the immediate level 2 coming in for the Keeper. As long as you can keep the Keeper on level 1, as long as you can prevent the Entangle from coming through, your grunts are going to be able to do more. You don't have to worry about your Blade Master as much, so I really, really like this aggressive move here. The Wisp could help dispelling some of the Blade Master illusions, refuses to do so for now, but that Tree of Life is getting close to destroyed. There's still a little bit of time left. Is he going to go for it?
He's going to cancel it.
Nice.
Oh, wonderful move by KnOfF. Great estimation. We even saw that Neytpoh was faking as if he was close to finishing it. The funny thing is, an opponent cannot see the difference between damage and lack of progress. So once you start damaging a tree, you don't know how close it is to finishing. Oh, nice around on the keeper!
Wow.
He got the keeper. Of course, there's a Wisp that can detonate away the illusion, but that's a nice little bit of damage as the Blade Master comes back in with enough mana for a single Windwalk. There's no mana on the Keeper of the Grove, and he doesn't have Entangle yet. He needs those creeps.
Yeah, he needs those creeps, he needs the Murlocs to finally make that transition over, but I think KnOfF has done a good job so far. The last Murloc might be just enough to get the level 2. So KnOfF playing a wonderful pressure game early on, you know, preventing the immediate fast expansion, making the Keeper sweat a little bit, and then also, of course, going on for an immediate counter creep here with the next Troll High Priest. Very nicely done. This is going to be the level 2 for the Keeper, for the Blade Master. You have the Shadowhunter in the mix, going for Snakes first, against what seems to be a little bit of a Huntress aggression that many Night Elves like to run in this matchup. So I think, honestly, Grubby, this is a very strong start for KnOfF.
It is. He got a 90% tree cancel. Neytpoh was trying to fake like as if it was going to finish by putting a Wisp next to it, even though it couldn't do anything. He knew it wasn't finished, but he was hoping to bluff KnOfF away from being there and finishing it, saying, you know, I'm just going to start repairing this and maybe kill your blade. But KnOfF didn't take any of that. He knew exactly the statistics and that he was able to kill the tree. Good estimation. And that's a big deal. Now, Neytpoh is on tier 1. He's got double Angel to 4 Mass Huntresses, and he's throwing up a belated localized expansion on the spot that is cancelable, but KnOfF should, it got scouted. KnOfF should definitely not overemphasize on trying to cancel it. At some point, when you're against a player that is mass tier 1 units, all they want is a fight. Yeah. By giving them a fight against a very late expansion, you are justifying the existence of these Huntresses. However, if you creep and you get your second hero higher level, you are getting an advantage that your opponent cannot have. They cannot have a second hero. So by creeping and strengthening himself, he is still on 1 versus 1 base economy, and that's why KnOfF should be satisfied with this. And he has a very smart defensive position, whereas Neytpoh, he needs to go get some kills. He is Mass Tier 1, his expansion got delayed, and he ideally would love to catch KnOfF in a creepjack, but he won't be able to do so if KnOfF isn't creeping. So he's just going to take the camp himself. This is a move by Neytpoh, a power play where he says, go ahead and creepjack me, that's how desperate I am for the fight, but KnOfF gets the double creep steal!
He got the double kill on the ogres. They're falling into the hands of the orc, and now the speed scroll comes through. The surround of the keepers. There he has a TP. Is likely going to be forced to use it ASAP, because otherwise, that with a lucky crit could have been the end of it already. Such a nice interception, a beautiful creepjack coming in from KnOfF here, really showing his muscles, flexing it up to the max right now, getting the double ogres, stealing once more experience away from the Night Elf player. Now removes the Blade Master so you can solo creep the Shadow Hunter, which is going to be very beneficial towards the level 3. And Grubby, normally it's all about, you know, you want the stats items on the Blade Master early on. You know, you want those claws, you want those circlets and all that stuff. But KnOfF, he found 2 illusions already. And I think with those illusions, he really made sure that none of the grunts were caught, you know, by an entangle. He had perfect vision of what Natron was doing. So I think with these unusual items where you're normally not always keen to having them, I think he actually came in very strong because of those.
Yeah, he's used them for confusion. There's many ways to use them. He's used them for confusion, for body blocks, surrounds. Very creative and good use of those illusions. And we could see him prioritizing those camps that offer the Wands of Illusion. Now, KnOfF reached a very powerful power spike. His Shadow Hunter has reached level 3.
Big
his
items.
Blade Master is level 3. He's got greater mana pot, heal scroll, and he's bringing peons with a Grunt Shaman that is almost entirely upgraded. 1 armor on the Grunt. Shaman getting the Lightning Shield upgrade soon.
Yeah, Lightning Shield will be here in just a bit. That's going to be very useful. We see, especially when there's a cluster of Night Elf Tier 1, what a good Lightning Shield on the Blade Master can do. So let's see. There's a mass of angry Huns here trying to defend their second base for the stronger economy. But I think right now KnOfF is in a nice position. You know, his hero levels are decent. He's spreading the snakes in a nice line, so the piercing damage will help him in the fight. And he's building a forward base here. A little bit of an orc outpost on the left-hand side. Fakes are out on the Alchemist here. The Purge is coming through. Purge after Purge again. That might be first blood on the heroes. The Blade Master snacks him like it was breakfast. And now KnOfF is on the warpath. He's pushing forward. There's still a nice concave of Night Elven tier 1 units though. And Wisps are coming through into the backline. They detonate. Shaman's completely dry. No more mana on it. Here comes a Lightning Shield. Invul and greater healing being used on the Blade Master, who's still relentlessly chasing a KnOfF. He might be doing it. He might be holding his own once more.
Yeah, panicking there, using both items of survivability at the same time. Unnecessary, but safe for sure. Both players with their melee hero a little bit careless, but the Alchemist pays the ultimate price, does not have the safety net of those items, and will go down immediately. Now, Neytpoh is fighting without TP. He'll scroll. True. He has no mana left. He is desperately going in and defending something that is undefendable. He's trying to buy time just so that he can squeeze out a little bit more gold out of that base, but he has neither the Moonwells nor the position or the items to keep this up. KnOfF, he's tasting victory. He goes with the Purge on the Keeper of the Grove. Nearly gets this around. Not quite. Is there enough mana on the Shamans? No, he's lacking 6 Shaman mana. 4 mana left, and he could have done a Purge, which means now he has it again.
But Grubby, it's almost like a win-win situation for KnOfF here. If he doesn't get the Keeper, if he forces Neutron back, he still gets the expansion. The towers are up right now, reinforcing this position once more. The shop is there as well to provide mana and healing. I think this is basically a secondary base gone now, and it's back to 1 base versus 1 base. And now all of a sudden, Neutron finds himself in this situation where he kind of doesn't have the tech necessary. He relied on his mass tier 1. Is he going to build something behind that? Maybe bears, maybe Dryades, or is it too late? Is he trying to force the decision here with sheer numbers and power of his tier 1 units?
There's one way and one way only that Neytpoh can come back out of this game. And there's one way that he is experienced in doing so and has done so before in previous fight nights. He's going to probably stay with Huntresses, and he's going to try and use his superior macro and game sense to run circles around KnOfF. Expanding here or expanding there, out creeping, an attack on the base, TP out, traps, creepjacks. This is how he has won some of his games. But is the gap between KnOfF and Neytpoh at the moment too big? I fear it just might be.
It just might be. I've got a really good feeling about KnOff's state of the game here. I think if that creep check doesn't happen, you know, if it doesn't take too much sacrifices, too many sacrifices on the orc side of things, he might just have enough time to heal up. The item was secured. The Ogre Lord was dealt with by KnOfF here himself. Very nice hero levels. Very good items on him too. And honestly, Grubby, with the number of shamans that he has, if he gets enough mana, if he dodges the wisps maybe, I think he will have plenty of Dispel against the Treants. He will have plenty of lightning shields to cause all sorts of troubles onto the Huntresses here. So I think now he just needs to remain calm and collected, as you said, and not get fooled by an experienced veteran such as Neutron. You know, don't have these hunch drive-bys. We've all seen those. You know, snipe a main base, even snipe the burrows. Huntresses can do so much when they have a great number.
Exactly, and with that Moonglaive upgrades, attack upgrades, bouncing on peons that may be repairing, they are a threat indeed. Now let's talk about some differences of a recent pro game that we saw in the scene. Fly versus Moon. Fly managed to do a similar tower push successfully on this map against Moon, but Fly, after towering the base, as we see in the top left, tried to take that very expansion with the Great Hall, despite the towers most likely being out of position to defend the Great Hall. He figured, my base now. But actually, it did not work. He lost it over 3 times and ended up throwing the game because of it. KnOfF, he played it smarter. He decided not to expand there, instead staying on 50 food for a very long time to maximize his income, and then expanded on his own side of the map. Although it also got cancelled, it forces Neytpoh to walk further away from his home in an area of the map that has largely been crept already by KnOfF himself. So any cancel on that expansion costs Neytpoh valuable time. He is now standing in his base healing up, and there's nothing around him, but KnOfF still has camps available. So when it comes to manipulating the available camps and making sure that you've got creeping to do while your opponent is getting choked out, KnOfF has succeeded in this macro sense very, very well indeed.
Yeah, and when we look at the army composition that KnOfF currently is fielding here, it almost takes us back a few months, you know, in Fight Night when we were watching a lot of Hitman's games back in the days. You know, strong grunt numbers with 2 defense upgrades right now. He doesn't have Raiders right now. He doesn't have Spirit Walkers. He's relying on pure Shaman Grunts with superior upgrades and decent numbers. And this could actually be the case because of the fact that he knows that there's not going to be any tech units from Neutron's side, you know? He knows that Neutron is likely going to stay on Mass Tier 1, so he wants to make the unit that he has right now as strong and beefy as humanly possible.
Exactly. And he's going to have a lot of lightning shields. He's going to be able to dispel all the spells except Acid Bomb and Heal Spray, of course. And he's ready with his double Heal Scroll. Wand of the Wind as well to interrupt Heal Scroll. There goes the first victim. 1 Huntress going down. Grunt's now taking a lot of damage from the archers. The Blade Master trying to go for the archers. Not late with his Shaman spells. Not removing Treants. Not using Lightning Shield a whole lot. Whereas Neytpoh is doing pretty good. His archers are shredding down Shamans. Great focus fire by Neytpoh.
Indeed, focus target after focus target falls in the army of KnOfF. True, the Blade Master's doing tons of damage in the backline with the Lightning Shield not getting dispelled, running out right now. Another Lightning Shield on the Grunt here as well. The Archers, though, too great in numbers, are sheerly focusing down Orc unit after Orc unit protected by the Scroll of Protection, but the crits are flying through right now. The Blade Master, the Orc, with a double level up here. Healing Wave coming through once again. The Invul, the Blade Master is slicing and dicing his way to victory in that squishy backline. Now focusing on the hero. Level 3 Alchemist is going to fall. Bye-bye, sucker.
240!
And there we go. Another crit. The Entangle slows down the attacks for now, but is it going to be enough? The Keeper now, the next target. No protection, no TP, nothing available. And KnOfF, he's done it. He's brute forcing his way through. GG and Neutron. The final blow has been dealt, and that is going to be 1-0 for the rival. Maybe Neutron shouldn't have talked that much, because KnOfF is here to prove him wrong and teach him some manners.
256 crits. That's how I remember KnOff's play. And Neytpoh self-deprecatingly says, well, I guess not 3-0. But can he be sure that it won't be 3-0?
I mean, there's always a different 3-0 available, Grubby. I like the hint that you're giving us right now. Do you think that this performance was strong enough to actually best Neutron several times? Or do you think it was just a once-in-a-lifetime spark? Do you think Neutron maybe made some crucial mistakes? Or was KnOfF just really playing well?
I have seen 4 show matches from Neytpoh this year. 2 against me and 2 in Fight Night, and now the beginning of a 5th. In every single show match, Neytpoh started playing better and better as the series went on. Although he lost this one fairly handily, KnOfF played really cleanly. People are still very fit during the first map. You play standard from both sides. It's during game 4 and 5 that you really start to see the chaos, disruption that flagging concentration can deliver you. So let's see. I wouldn't count Neytpoh out by any means, Kendric.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And, you know, sometimes Neutron, as you said, he needs a little bit of time to get rolling. But when he's rolling, he's a well-oiled machine. A very calm and collected killer that will find every weakness in KnOff's defenses. So, a great start. Already not the way we had anticipated and expected it to go. Because KnOfF, on paper, seems to be the underdog, right? He is a good player, no doubt, but is he in the top 3, in the top 5 of the European orcs? Some people may doubt it. But him already showing up big time is such a good sign for him, because I remember I whispered him earlier this day and, you know, asked if he was feeling good, how he was feeling about the game. And he was like, you know, the time is a little bit different than what he's normally used to playing. It's very late, so he's not so sure. And so he wasn't really the most confident player I've ever talked to, but this should really give him the boost needed to maybe cause a little bit of an upset in Fight Night today.
Yeah, when I listened to your interview with him as well, I started doubting whether he would be a valid opponent for Neytpoh, despite the respect accorded to him, despite the shape he's been gaining, his practice on NetEase, the Chinese server, Kendric, of course. But what he is showing now shows a level of competence.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can hold on to it as the series gets dirtier and goes into the game 2, 3, 4, potentially.
Down and dirty we go, boys. We go to Concealed Hill. That's going to be our map number 2. That was the first choice of Neutron. And, you know, most of you guys out there, you probably didn't really know what's going on behind the scenes. In our group chat, Neutron was actually mocking KnOfF quite a bit because of his loser choices. He was like, oh, you know, Echo Isles is a nice map, but unfortunately we're not going to play it. What a pity.
Well, Northern Isles and Concealed Hill, the maps that he outlined as his loser maps, he's like, sad we won't play them. They're great maps. And then he said, looking forward to Twisted Meadows, cool map, which is KnOff's final loser pick. So he was once again hinting it's going to be 3-0. Do you know what KnOff said, guys? Parenthesis. He did the Russian smiley, the
Russian
smiley without eyes. So he's like, you can keep talking. I don't hate you, but I know what you're doing, and I'm not going to play into it. And, well, he didn't.
Yeah. Really cool, guys. We're going to have the second game coming up in a moment here. The countdown is running, so we're going to dive right into the action, guys. 1-0 for the quote-unquote underdog from Sweden in this matchup of Fight Night HeroesHearth Warcraft 3. Let's cheer the players a little bit more on, you know, if you're here for the favorite, if you're here for the current champion, Neutron, let your support be heard in the chat. But if you want to cheer for your boy KnOfF, maybe some Swedes in the chat, then feel free to let us know as well. And something we're going to mention real quick before the action starts in game number 2. You can support these players. You can support them by dropping some Twitch bits while the broadcast is still live. You know, a big portion of it is going to go into the so-called bounty. We still have the bounty already filled up to 8,300 and something. So the players will walk home with more money. Guaranteed, of course, participation money for the winner of each fight night. $200 for the victor and $100 for the quote-unquote loser, because nobody walks home empty-handed here.
And we want to thank 9 Spoons very much already for dropping some cheer bits earlier on during Game 1. Thank you for the 1,500. Thanks for the support. The players and the organization really appreciate it. We are on the way with game number 2. Concealed Hill, the first loser pick by Neytpoh. And he's going to open up with an Ancient of War next to the nearest creep camp.
Very true. Are we going to see the same heroes? The good old stuff, Blade Master versus Keeper. So far it looks like it. None of the players really crazy and keen on switching it up. You mentioned an earlier game between Moon and Fly. I think, Grubby, the other day it took place. I watched a little bit of Law Light in preparation to this series, who's been looking really strong right now. And he's been playing some Warden against Orcs every now and then on smaller maps. I think it might have actually been on Concealed Hill. So yeah, I think there's definitely room for exotic crazy things. The question is just, when do the players want to step it up?
Maybe Neytpoh plays the best when he gives himself different strategies. And maybe what he did against Spiral, preparing several different things, is what actually was the most useful for him. Comparing things, he took a greedy creep camp on last Refuge against Spiral, the Goblin Shop, and it worked out. And here, against KnOfF, he keeps playing the standard safe opener of the, the second easiest creep camp. And maybe it's just too vanilla. Maybe KnOfF is good against vanilla. He's going to have to figure KnOfF out if he wants to draw this series back in his favor. But for KnOfF, it's fine if that doesn't happen.
Yeah, absolutely. The Keeper, by the way, finds a Ring of Protection +3. Can't really complain about that when there's a Blade Master on the opposing side. Helps him protect a little bit of the damage here. Gloves of Speed, Gloves of Haste. Not the worst, not the best. He's probably going to keep it for now. Gets the healing salves in just in case. And once again, we have really fast creeping from Neutron, as you said, Grubby. No harassing, not trying to catch any grunts off guard or something like that. And the grunt micromanagement, the grunt rotations around the map, I think are very important for Orcs in this matchup. You want to have the vision. You want to see what the Night Elf is up to, when he's planning to go for the fast expo, if at all. So I really like this movement. But, of course, you have to be careful not to overextend and lose your grunts recklessly.
So KnOfF, that's true, and KnOfF just scouted to see if Keeper is blindsiding him, going around the right side of the map, straight to his base. That's something he would want to know if it happens. And in the meantime, his Blade Master goes past the other side, gets a free Wisp and a Treant. Nice points of experience for the Blade. And he has seen so far in the most common location, Tree of Life has not yet started. There's 3 places where Night Elves may want to put their early Tree of Life, if they're going to go for it. It's where Blade Master is right now. It's where he's going soon, on the middle left, and there is a Wisp there. So, and KnOfF saw no Wisp, but he did see that the Tree of Life was not being created.
Grubby, what I've witnessed a lot of Night Elves do as well. I think Foggy does a lot of that stuff lately.
One sec. Score 1-0.
Sorry, I'm going to fix that. Thank you guys for letting me know. The score is indeed 1-0. But yeah, something I noticed, especially players like Foggy do quite often, is go for a sneaky AP push, and then maybe expand behind that while the Orc is busy clearing that off. So when there's no immediate expansion going, when you don't have good vision on the Night Elf, sometimes as an Orc player, you get that spider sense, and you're like, something isn't right. I should check my environment and my vicinity.
Yeah, and Foggy is someone that looks a lot at Moon's play and tries to copy it. Moon does that a lot. Therefore, Foggy does that a lot.
All right, here we go. The Grunt is just barely going to make it a
6.
low damage
He
roll
can
on
block.
the Keeper. Is he going to chase him down all the way? Might be locked in now. Has to potentially trade a Telestaff for that
Oh, he
one. Needs
denied
to
the
use it
XP with
immediately.
the burrow.
Nicely done, though. Nice deny. Wonderfully done. Still gets something out of it, though. And honestly, guys, that was once again not the worst it could have been for KnOfF. Now the Tree of Life comes through, though, in the top left corner. Is he going to scout it? The Keeper immediately going to the healing fountain, by the way. Cheap healing. Doesn't have to use all the moon juice.
Yeah, gonna heal for free. Of course, mana is 4 times as expensive as health, but still getting a little bit of free health is gonna preserve those moonwells for a potential rainy day later on.
All right, so Neutron, level 2.5 right now, close to level 3. He's likely going to go for Entangle too, but we're going to see when it happens. Level 2 now equalized by KnOfF in the bottom side. Drops some items here. Probably tries to go to the shop real quick, or leaves them for the Shadow Hunter, excuse me, who should be arriving soon. So a little bit of space in the inventory for the Blade Master. What is he going to go for? We're going to find out. He's currently on a scouting mission. Needs, of course, to find out what Neutron is doing. Neutron still tier 1, by the way, guys. Very late tech.
Yeah, standard play for him these days. Moon is playing like that as well. Double Insta-4 tier 1, and then an expansion. And only then will they go tier 2 after about 37 food or so.
Yeah.
KnOfF had a thought that maybe the laboratory was being crept. This was not the case. He saw the peon being killed by the units, and he arrives at a pretty good time to still do a creepjack. But there is an owl here from the Huntresses. He sees the blade and uses Entangle Roots level 2 over the Treants to do bonus damage on the Blade Master. And that makes it very challenging, especially without Staff of Teleport, for the Blade Master to be here and steal anything. The Tree of Life finishes and will walk, and Neytpoh pretty much has a carbon copy of how he would like his gameplay to look like if he gets everything he wants.
Yeah, Grubby, you know, sometimes Night Elves, they don't play fair, you know. They have vision on you, but you don't know that they have vision on you because of nighttime. So the Owl, superior vision rate is onto the Blade Master there, making sure that he cannot interfere and steal some experience or steal an item. So KnOfF has been repelled, this time by Neutron, who's looking a little bit more passive, you know, a little bit more secure. He wants to get this expansion up without taking any major losses like he did in the first game. The Shadow Hunter, in the meantime, though, prime objective, get that level 3, you know, get that level 2 healing wave and try to maybe launch. What is he actually going for? Let's see. Going Shamans again, no Beastery again, so very similar style. Maybe go for that Shaman Grunt timing with snakes and, yeah. See what
Keeper
happens
of the
then.
Grove, Staff of Teleports to the bottom right. Having had his Wisp see that the Shadow Hunter was creeping here, somehow KnOfF sniffed that out and left before disaster struck. The Night Elf army was indecisive. It was on the middle left of the map, judging, shall I stop the Blade Master or creepjack the Shadow? The problem is, they were on opposite sides of the map, and this suits KnOfF well. So the Keeper finally decided to do a little bit of both, and finally goes on with the pressure and entangle on the Shaman that he must know will get purged away. And I think he's doing that because he knows when Shamans are not upgraded yet, and they use a purge, it takes them a long time to get the mana back.
That is true. Mana management on the Shamans is so important. Here we see the Blade Master, though, in a sticky situation, tries to go for a counterattack. 2 crits in a row, and down is the Archer. Gets healed as well by the Shadow Hunter. But you mentioned a really good point. I think Night Elves have become so good at manipulating the Orc player's mana, you know, forcing out these purges. When they have the Moon Juice just to refill it, the Shamans are going to take a longer time. It delays the push. It delays further moves. Wisps, of course, detonate them into the backline, and those Shamans are not going to have a good time at all. So when are we going to see that upgrade? It's coming right now. Shaman Adept training in order. That will help them a little bit in that regard. Also, of course, gives access to Lightning Shield, which in the last game and over again has done great work.
Yeah, exactly. When used well on the Blade Master or on a Grunt, it can wreak havoc, especially among Archer lines. But for now, Neytpoh is in a comfortable position, Kendric. He's got the Town Portal, he's got position on KnOfF, and he's buying time for his expansion, which has just come online.
Very true. He's also researching Moonglaves. So when he if he tries to go for a so-called Hunt's drive-by in the Orc base, you know, those peons, when they're trying to repair, they're going to have a bad time. We often see that, you know, these lines of corpses of poor peons that are trying to repair against Huntresses. It's the worst feeling of any Orc player. For now, though, he's waiting for the right number, the critical mass of Huntresses. Almost level 4 now. No second hero because of that delayed tech. The question is he going to go for the Alchemist right now?
Sapper!
Oh,
Goblin Sapper!
the Zapper's coming through, okay.
There's
Alright.
an owl. There's an owl on the way that would catch the Sapper. He's sending it by itself. Maybe Neytpoh will be distracted enough that he doesn't see the Sapper because of the impending potential altercation. But I'm thinking he probably sees it. He could just staff to the top left. No, he sold his staff.
Yeah, this Sapper is likely going to go in the Entangled Gold Mine, right? Just to stop the mining?
That's not really worth it. You deny mining.
So he's just hiding it?
Yeah, he's gonna attack with every Grunt and Shaman. He has no TP, but he has a... Oh, okay. Okay, he has a TP. He's gonna attack with everything he has on the tree and use Sapper to do the final 55% damage. And that's gonna not give Neytpoh enough time to react. And the great thing for KnOfF is Neytpoh's already over 50 food.
Yeah.
So he's gonna lose money to upkeep. I find that he's showing his Shadow Hunter a little bit early. This is risky, but in comes the Sapper. He uses it right away. I think that's a mistake because the Wisps can still come in.
Yeah, the Wisps are coming through. The TP as well. I think Neutron is going to be there in time. Is he just going to exchange TPs? Does KnOfF even have one? Yes, he has one of the Shadowhunter. Uses it right now. Is the damage going to be enough to kill the expansion? Just barely enough. Loses a couple of units, but that was well worth it. It was basically what he had come for. Not the cleanest execution, as Grubby pointed out, but some items were forced as well. You know, the Scroll of the Beast. Yeah. I think Neutron just wanted these Orc units as dead as possible, as quickly as possible, to maybe keep this expansion alive somehow.
Yeah, or at least get his money's worth. Quid pro quo.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. KnOfF did that. He could have done it better. Sapper on top of the tree. Don't show Shadowhunter right away. Do a few hits before exploding. And use the Sapper to explode the Wisps on top of the tree at the north side. Simultaneously with taking down the tree's life. The problem is he didn't move his Shamans at all. And Neytpoh smartly gunned them down with archers. 2 full mana Shamans were lost. He's now losing a third one. He will not have enough Dispel to manage this fight, and Neytpoh already has 67 food. The fight breaks out, and we see 25 more food on the side of Neytpoh.
Once again, we see the clash that we've witnessed in the previous game before as well. The Blade Master in the backlines once again trying to snipe those poor little ladies, but this time, the big sisters, the Huntresses, they're taking care of the archers, and... You know, Neutron, he doesn't take much damage here. He has vision with those owls in the trees. And KnOfF, he needs time. Time that he doesn't have to heal up. All the grunts are super low. The Moonglaves have really wreaked havoc onto the poor Orc units right now. He has a forward burrow. Fortified armor has been researched as well. It's definitely going to keep his base safe for now. But as you can see, guys, Neutron already re-expanding at the natural location. He knows that he has the time right now. And he knows that he has the army upper hand.
Yeah, armor upgrade coming in. He's at 67 food. And he's made a shredder that makes sure that he will never need to have a single wisp for lumber ever again. Only to build. So he can use them to detonate on the few shamans that survive. Now, KnOfF just went over 50 food. Yeah. I wonder if he will actually follow through with that. Because he's got a very tenuous hold on this game. His only advantage was... at least he's mining more, despite being up against a vastly bigger army. And now going to 51 food, the very smallest of above 50 food count, just a single unit over. He's lost that advantage while still having a smaller army, and he's not expanding. So I feel like he's given away the only advantage that he had.
Yeah, I like what he's doing right now. He's healing at the Fountain of Health. It was a little bit of a risky move. You could see how he was very hesitant to move this far out because the Night Elven army could have already lured in the shadows. But of course, now that he started the Dragon Camp, it's a little bit unfortunate because Neutron did his own Dragon Camp. He has a strong item. Vampiric Aura is probably going to sell that though because of Night Elves not really needing it. But now we see this Huntress's drive by. He probably assumes that the TP scroll has not been rebought. We see relatively strong Night Elf heroes here as well. Level 3 Alchemist, level 4 Keeper. He knows though, nice building layout by the way here by KnOfF, preventing the arc, the concave to be fully efficient. But now we have another engagement here. The Orc army is completely split in half. The Shamans too late into the fray. And look at the position as well, Grubby. A massive concave for the Night Elven units. They weren't even touched right now, but all the Orc units are running and cowering in fear. They're too hurt.
Potion of Invulnerability missing on Blade Master. He's got no mana to Windwalk, so he's very much at risk of simple focus fire. And here comes the fight. Perfect positioning for Neytpoh. His archers completely safe in the back. Lightning Shield hurting KnOfF as much as it hurts the Huntresses.
Level 3 now for the Blade Master, though. Level 2 crits could actually deal a little bit of damage. The healing spray coming through, though. The golden powder, that's exactly what the Night Elves unit want here. I think KnOfF is doing the best he can here. The grunts are somewhat okay. Healing wave has to go through the Blade Master. The Blade Master, no more protection, goes down immediately. Level 5 Keeper. That doesn't look good for a Swede.
Great move there by Neytpoh. That little archer block, those subtle moves, just enough to stop him completely from being able to leave. Taking down the Blade Master, a dream for any Night Elf, for most of the damage is now gone. Serpent Wards, the tank is gone as well, the grunts are dropping, there is no shop. He's remaking the blade, but how long is it going to take? And the Tree of Life is mining once again at the expansion. It looks like Neytpoh is about to equalize.
Yeah, I know how long it takes, Grubby. It takes too long. I don't think the Blade Master is going to come back in time.
Especially when you're waiting for it. I think it takes 3 times as long.
GG's, and that is the equalizer. The champion strikes back, guys. We have a 1-1, and you can see it with the total score here. That looked a little bit less one-sided than it actually was, but I think Neutron at this point, he always had the game in his control.
Yeah, much stronger performance by him. At some point, when he was 50 food and KnOfF was 50, and he was at the natural of KnOfF, I was just thinking, how will KnOfF ever win this? And I think he had the right call. The Sapper and the TP was just what he needed, but the execution was lacking. Of course, he would be against a 65 food either way, 65 food army, which is risky, but he lost the 2 shamans. Had he not, he wouldn't have to remake them. He might have made money to immediately throw down 3 watchtowers at home instead of feeling like he needs to replace the shamans. It's a big difference, and actually, execution better, KnOfF might have been able to come back in the game, even though he didn't do enough damage early game, and he lost the grunt. On the side of Neytpoh, though, he really managed to iron out some mistakes he made on the previous map. He played it a lot cleaner, he protected his Tree of Life, he got an earlier level 2, which granted is easier on Concealed Hill than on Last Refuge. So the map plays into it a little bit, which also means it's a big question mark what's going to happen in Game 3.
Yeah. By the way, quick question, Grubby. Do you need a break, or do we want to dive right into Game 3?
I do not. I'd be happy to continue if you are.
There we go. Let's do it. The players are eager. I just asked them kindly if they wanted to go on a short break, because we normally offer the players to do that after Game 2, but they were like, no, go play. Neutron seems like he had a very long day, so let's go right for it, guys. The equalizer, we're already set for one hell of a series. Can't wait to see what's that? Is it gonna be Echo Isles now?
Yes, Echo Isles is the first pick for KnOfF should he lose a game.
Nice.
We'll be going to it. I just have to remake because I accidentally made without observers.
No problem.
Remaking now.
How was your stream going today, by the way, Grubby? Everything good?
Yeah, it was good. It was fun. Did you stream today?
I did stream some Heroes today, but don't ask me about it.
Mine went better. I didn't have any teammates to drag me down.
I was baited into it. You know, I streamed a little bit of Heroes yesterday as well, some WoW after. And yesterday went so nice. You know, I really enjoyed the games. They were close. They were epic. We won most of them. So I was like, you know what? Let's do another one tomorrow. And I immediately hated my life for that decision.
You made 2 mistakes, Kendric. One is you were allowed to hope. Yesterday you had no expectations. Today you had high expectations. And you have no influence over what teammates or atmosphere you're going to get. Mistake number 2 is you played on a Friday. Lol. Weekend HOTS.
Weekend is Storm League, yeah.
Weekend HOTS is really a thing. I learned that last week. Yeah.
It's very special. My saddest moment was my final game where I thought I could end on a high note, but then people thought it was time for a 2-tank, 2-mage game, and that was...
Never believe that you'll have a final better game than the...
But the next one, the next one is going to be that game.
Yeah, gambler syndrome. I'll gamble on a good game in HOTS. Been seeing some pictures of your new setup. Looks super clean, by the way, man.
Thank you. Yeah, my poor gamer body, who's not used to that much physical activity when it comes to lifting things and carrying stuff around, it definitely showed me that I may have overdone it, but I'm very happy with the result. It feels good.
It's nice. It must feel satisfying when you see it. You've got a clean triple monitor set up. Very beautiful, inspiring.
More space. You can breathe now. I was so cramped back with the old setup. Too many tables, too much stuff lying around. You know.
Unclutter your desk. Unclutter your mind. Great job. Game number 3 is on the way, and both will be trying to unclutter their mind as they try to win this best of 5 for $200. First, a huge thanks to Sovietico Sas for dropping I don't know how many cheer bits. I can't see that
1,500,
here.
I think it was.
Thank you very much.
Just enough to
for the
actually
support.
crack the 10K. What a legend.
Very, very nice. In the meantime, the game is in full swing. The usual suspects will enter upon the scene. Blade Master, Keeper of the Grove. And on a map that KnOfF should be comfortable with. This is his pick. Terran's Stand was removed by Neytpoh, so theoretically this is KnOFF's favorite or second favorite map. Let's see what damage he can do on it.
I always find it interesting when Night Elves ban Terran's Stand, you know, because it's a great Warden map, but then maybe Orc is not the best race to use it against. What do you think about that, Grubby? You know, Warden against Human is a thing, against Undead sometimes, but what do you think about her in the Orc matchup?
It's not good.
Yeah.
Against Orc. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Every now and then you can lose to a Warden. Satini, the Finnish Night Elf player, he did it sometimes. Sometimes I had hard games, but overall, Demon is more threatening, even as a solo hero. But yeah, didn't want to play Terran's Stand. Let's look at the builds. Interestingly enough, this is the first break of the chain by Neytpoh. He has not gone double Moonwell Huntress Hall. He has gone double Moonwell Tree of Life.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty greedy. So he's gonna not protect his Tree of Life with Huntresses like all the other games, but with Archers, getting level 2 in absentia of his Keeper.
Yeah.
Getting that with his Treants and Archer, and the Blade Master. If he goes straight to that tree, it's probably a cancel. Particularly so because Keeper is not following him. So if KnOfF sniffs it out, he gets it. However,
he goes for the greedy route. He goes for the Ogre Magi. That's going to take him a long time to finish. And more importantly, for KnOfF here, it's going to take him a lot of health. It's not even guaranteed sometimes with unlucky damage rolls that you're actually going to get it. And I think KnOfF might fall victim to exactly that phenomenon. Is he going to get it? It's going to be very close. One more attack. The Windwalk in time. He doesn't get it. He can't even get the item now.
I just want to say, had he Windwalked 0.1 second later, he would have got the hit, because you have a final hit when you pass into the shadows. But he messed it up.
Grubby. Here's Neutron with a level 2 Treants. He actually saw the Ogre Magi. He still gets it with a little bit of help from his opponent. Uses the item that we found immediately, the Greater Healing. And it's an absolute bloodbath right now. The Blade Master still completely locked in with creeps. Has a final Windwalk just in the nick of time and needs to get the hell out of dodge.
Okay, using the Greater Heal right away. He will get an Archer for his troubles, most likely.
Nice.
He doesn't get the experience, but the creeps are helping. So that's an Archer kill, that's alright. But you know, Neytpoh, he's basically following the same build, but he has made an adjustment in the order of things.
Yeah.
In the previous games, he went Ancient of War, double Moonwell, Hunter's Hall, second Ancient of War, third Moonwell, then Tree of Life. Now he's gone double Moonwell Ancient of War, Tree of Life, then Hunter's Hall and second Ancient of War. So you can imagine that it's much greedier, much more economical, and it has still not been cancelled by KnOfF. We saw what happened when he did it in a safe manner on Concealed Hill. He won fairly easily, even despite the Sapper attack. He's now even greedier, and he has not killed any Grunt, which he did do on Concealed Hill. So he's 1 Grunt down in terms of profit, but he's a lot up in terms of Tree of Life speed. So if he gets his way, he should be able to play a similar game as on Concealed Hill. However, the architecture of the map is better for Orc. It's not as easy to play circles around the Orc, and this is why maybe KnOfF is doing slightly better than before, but basically so is Neytpoh.
Yeah, both players, especially Neutron, it feels like he's doing so well. You know, he has this expansion coming up right now, level 3 on the Keeper. That means level 2 Entangle. He's probably going to use that Keeper very proactively right now to maybe find some stray Grunts up on the map. He found the Crystal Ball. Meh, not the worst, but also not the best. And what do we have here? Talisman of Evasion on the Blade Master. No combat stats here either. Looking pretty okay, though. And are we going to see a counter expansion, Grubby? Maybe sometimes Orcs, you know, a little bit later, obviously, than the Night Elf players, but sometimes with a strong Tier 2 push, they expand behind that. We haven't seen that from KnOfF exactly in this matchup yet. Perhaps with Echo Owls it might be time.
Basically, against a competent Night Elf, in this position you cannot hold an expansion. It is pointless to try it. It's a money sink, and it delays Shaman production, War Mill, fortified burrows, what have you. I'm very surprised by KnOfF going back to base, but I guess I do get it a little bit. He knew that Keeper was done creeping, and he doesn't have Shamans yet, so he doesn't want to over-invest in trying to purge away and tangle attacks. And he wanted that Blade level 3.
And the level 3 he got, he's right there right now. Has 2 Gloves of Haste. Not the greatest. He might actually want to pass one over to the Shadowhunter or sell them for extra resources. He's sending the Blade Master over right now, though. And in this situation, you know, where he's trying to prevent the gold mine from getting entangled, the double Gloves of Haste can actually come in very handily. The DPS increase that he might get from them is potentially enough to actually prevent this gold mine from harvesting immediately. But here we have a counterattack from Neutron. Coming in with all the Huntresses right now. Tries to keep the Orc at base. 3 Dispels. As you said, there's a Shadow Priest and 2 Shamans. There they go.
No heal wave yet. The Priest got body blocked by KnOfF himself. Not the best positioning there. He's got 2 Dispels left. No, 1 Dispel, and now none. He purged a Huntress to get burrow damage on the Huntress. He will be able to net a kill with that. And he got the experience for it as well, which is surprising. In the meantime, Blade Master cancelled the gold mine at 99% progress. You pointed it out, Kendric. And he got it. That's a big deal. Keeper doesn't have Staff of Telly. Blade has a stranglehold on the mine.
He almost failed, though, because Neutron had actually pulled 1 Wisp to repair it, but it was just not enough, just barely not enough. Maybe if it pulled over the Wisp on the right-hand side for the double Wisp repair, it could have been enough, but right now, this Blade Master is such a thorn in Neutron's side, just continues to deny this expansion, and the longer this works without taking significant damage, the longer it's going to be a 1 base versus 1 base. Let's take a look into the base of KnOfF. He has the Spirit Lodge, he's building a War Mill right now, Fortified Burrow upgrade coming soon, probably to be safe against the Hunts.
Shaman upgrade is finished, so he's got better mana regeneration on the Shamans now. He hasn't got a single creep from this camp yet and is already being attacked. Blade Master cancelled the mine over and over and has now gone to get a heal scroll and a Staff of Telly.
Very nice.
He's gonna go full greed. He will not send his Blade Master home. He's going to cancel the gold mine once again, and I like it. He's got a staff, and he knows as long as his burrows are not dying, he can hold.
And you know what, Grubby? He gets a little bit of extra experience as well for his efforts if he continues to snipe those Wisps. And Neutron, he can't repair that right now. He's essentially not mining with this space. It's just resources expended, but not harvested from. So now, we have the second hero, though, and I think Neutron says, you know what, I've had enough of that. We're going to take shop control. We're going to try to get the creeps there as well, but luckily and smartly by KnOfF, he went there first. You know, he got items. He got the healing scroll, he got the telestaff, so he doesn't even care about this creeping attempt by the Night Elf.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it matters.
It matters still, that's true.
Acid Bomb and Heal Spray are available. That's level 2 on the Alchemist. That's pretty fast. The Blade Master kills a Wisp. Okay, this was a very important moment. He decided not to go for the second Wisp, knowing it would be greedy. He felt the Night Elf coming. And there's a moment, there's probably a fly 100% somewhere in the world that would have gone for that Wisp. There could be a Detonate, an Entangle, a Sentinel, and it could be risky. But that, to me, showed that KnOfF is in a great state of mind, not going for it, and just grinding out his Shadowhunter level 3, which is getting pretty close to, but not quite. And he's done so much delay on this tree. Neytpoh is at only 50 food, with Huntresses and Archers, and his tree is about to start mining. For how early it was, that's about as late as you can get it. And here come the peons. Fortified defenses is done. Armor coming. KnOfF is 50 food. He did forget a clause of attack.
That is true. I wanted to point that out, Grubby, as well. Claws of attack +6 were not picked up by the Shadowhunter. They're still lying in the water. Will be picked up later by either of the sides, of course, depending on who goes there first. But the peons are coming. I was expecting maybe an expansion behind this attack, but he's using them offensively. He's trying to maybe build a Voodoo Lounge relatively far forward for immediate healing, but also maybe as additional meat shields, you know, or a cheeky tower drive-by.
Yeah, KnOfF loves to bring shop when he attacks. He does this really, really well, has a lot of experience with it. So he's probably going to do a double tower Voodoo Lounge attack, buying time with his army and making sure he has a fallback point. Nice purge on the grunt, saving them for now. Good heal spray by Neytpoh, but the lightning shielded Blade Master is there. In come the Wisps. 1 Wisp detonate, 2 Wisp on all 3 out of 4 Wisps. And the Blade actually doesn't have the Tome of Invulnerability.
That's true. He has no invul for now, but he gets to safety for now. The Shadowhunter almost dry, can no longer use Healing Wave, only snakes for now. Here come more trees, getting dispelled immediately here. We have mercenaries now joining the fray as well on both sides. The illusions on the Alchemist are blocking so much damage. The towers are being built and cancelled immediately there as well. The Voodoo Lounge currently in production. The grunts were so low. He needs that time. He needs that healing. And I think Neutron, if he doesn't make a big mistake here, he's got the situation defended for now, though.
Neutron had a decision to make. Push because all the grunts are low, or go back and heal because he has no mana. He doesn't have a lot of Moonwells. It looks like he's going to flank here, but I don't know about this. He doesn't have a lot of mana and the shop is finishing. Blade Master's going to the shop to try and get a heal scroll. Instant heal pot, mana pot by the Shadowhunter here, trying to heal those grunts up. They have one armor upgrade.
The Blade Master going to get it? Oh, he got the healing scroll.
Keeper. Protection scroll.
Has an invul too. That's really good. The Shadowhunter gets the mana back that he so needs. It's a very tough moment, a very close situation right now. Is the expansion going to be falling? What is the Keeper going to do? He has no Telestaff, so he's going to be lurking a little bit behind. Needs to be careful as well if he comes in from an unfortunate angle. Purge, crit, and he might be falling. But of course, that invul potion is keeping him safe for now.
That's a snake level 1. That means he has heal wave level 2. He's going for the mine, but he's actually losing position while going for the mine. That seems like a dodgy decision. It doesn't cost anything a mine. Lightning shield, double purge. First Huntress goes down. Second Huntress rapidly falling.
It looks like he didn't KnOfF about that. He tried to go for the Entangled Gold Mine, but it was a dangerous position for the Night Elf player right now. The Lightning Shield's coming through, and the Blade Master seems to be the secret weapon of KnOfF that he's been using in this series over and over and over. Blade Master, no more mana, because no Windwalk available in a sticky situation, but the Huntress's numbers are very low right now, Grubby, and the Archers, they're just like cannon fodder for that Blade Master if he gets healed and protected well. Entangle coming through, Healing Wave, and Dispel. Whew.
Yeah, great move by KnOfF there. Neytpoh actually very greedy and actually kind of desperate to try and hero focus a Blade Master that has a town portal, that has heal wave backup.
Keeper.
He spammed archers hoping he has enough hunters just to buffer for them, but he really doesn't. These archers aren't doing anything anymore on these 3 armor grunts despite the acid bomb.
Yeah, the 3 armors doing so much right now. The level 1 armor upgrade really coming in handily here. Even some peons, to distract the A moves, to distract the front line a little bit more. And now only archers left. Is this basically just found prey for KnOfF? But Neutron, he's doing a very smart thing. He's hiding, he's running back and forth, hit and run tactics. He doesn't want to engage in a full fight. He knows his heroes are weakened. He knows he only has archers.
Focus fire!
Focus fire right now onto the Entangled Gold Mine. The Wisps are falling as well. The expansion is not mining once again, but now KnOfF might be trapped in a corner. Can escape through the south if he wants to. The Archer's having a great conquest right now. 2-0 upgrades. The attack is raining in, but the Blade Master untouched. Still, the master of the battlefield right now gets 1 Archer for his measure. Maybe the second one that's red. The Alchemist is a good replacement bounty, and he gets it. The Shadowhunter with a killing blow as well there. The Keeper out of mana. Only squishy stuff left for the Night Elf, and this is looking good for KnOfF.
Great focus fire again by Neytpoh, getting the second to final shaman. He finds rays of light in a dark overcast sky. His Tree of Life has been temporarily shut down. He lost his Alchemist, but with a double clarity potion and some clever entangled distraction that was dealt with, he has made KnOfF focus on his blade while gunning down shamans with his archers. No doubt he's coming for the final shaman, and KnOff's shaman control has been anything but perfect. There is no dispel right now.
That's true. The grunts in return, though, are largely untouched, so that at least is going in his favor right now. But as you said, Grubby, no dispel right now and no lightning shield, which has been such a formidable weapon to deal with the cluster of archers in the back. However, he has been sniping the Entangled Gold Mine over and over again. I think a rebuy on the Alchemist is going to be very costly for Neutron in its current economic position. So right now, I think it's all about KnOfF. No dispels ready. As Grubby said, there's not the large number of shamans available that he wants to have in a situation like this. But the archers, they're so squishy. 132 crits flying right now in every direction. 159. And he has to micro then. 159. There we go. A nice mercenary reinforcement attack, though. Muddy the Mud Golem coming in here as well. Shouts back to Warcraft. And Ogre holding the front line a little bit.
Nice damage there coming in on the grunt. It was slowed, that helps. Every entangle is a temporary shutdown on the blade because there is no dispel. There is that one shaman with no mana. But finally, a new shaman comes in. He's got 2 dispels, but will he get taken down? The Mud Golem is in range of a slow. The Shaman is taking a lot of damage. And he slows it.
Good perch now onto the Ogre Mauler. Once that big obstacle is out of the way, the Blade Master essentially has free reign once again to pounce on these archers in the back line. And KnOfF, man, this meat shield, the big bolt of lean green killing machines here on those grunts. The Blade Master, they're not letting anyone pass, and they're killing Wisps. They're killing the Entangled Goldmine over and over again. But this is almost like a stalemate, doesn't it feel like that? No one is really moving in. Sure, these archers are falling. Sure, these Entangled Goldmines are falling again. But Neutron is far from being dead and eliminated in this game.
Well, KnOfF is edging ahead. The Alchemist finally has come back and there is no Dispel. But the Blade Master has a lot of damage to do on those archers.
True.
There we go with the heal wave on the Shaman. But the Speed Scroll will get position for the Grunts to go on the archers. And he still has TP. There's no way that this can become a disaster for KnOfF. He's very close to level 5-5.
Very close indeed. And Grubby, yeah, you mentioned this, right? KnOff's units aren't dying, whereas Neutron loses an archer here, a treant over there. So the XP is slowly but surely stepping in the direction of the Orc player. So, as you said, level 5 Blade Master, level 5 Shadow Hunter even very close by. Oh, the perch into the surround. Just move those grunts a little bit further, scooch him in, and there he goes. And the Alchemist is getting saved by a staff. Nice move.
He finally has a Staff of Preservation, so Alchemist gets saved. But the Moonwells, okay, there were enough Moonwells. Alchemist coming back with full life and full mana.
Yeah, it's daytime though, so he has to be careful on how much Moon Juice he's using. He doesn't have an abundance of it left anymore. In the meantime, guys, bottom right corner, we have an Orc expansion coming through with all this aggression, with all this sieging up coming in from KnOfF. He thinks it's time to maybe equalize the score in bases. Shaman control once again, a little bit lackluster. Heals the Shaman. Number 1, though, with a last-second healing wave, though. But now the crits are flying. Level 5 is almost there. I think one treant might be enough to actually get it.
Yep.
Gets one, maybe a second one.
One more. There goes the second. That's level 5. He should be critting. Level 3 now. Blade Master taking a lot of damage, though.
Taking a lot of damage indeed, and so many treants right now. The Arch is in a very good position. The mana on the Night Elven heroes is really saving the day for Neutron right now. More and more grunts are falling, while the Huntresses are reinforcing as well. Great micro in the backline as well. The Lightning Shield coming through. Could this be the saving grace for KnOfF in that fight? Crit after crit is raining through, but is it going to be enough? The Archers are still looking relatively good. The Shadow Hunter's almost out of mana, gets another healing wave. Another Archer is falling. I think if Neutron just holds it the way it is, he might have the overwhelming numbers right now. He uses the staff onto an Archer, and KnOfF has to peace out. Took a lot of damage, but level 5 for the Shadow Hunter. Great blows were traded in this fight.
Now, an expansion has come up for KnOfF. I'm actually surprised about this. I didn't see this for a bit, but KnOfF dropped to 30 food, and he brought a number of peons there. That means he doesn't have the usual 5 to 7 peons from his main to send to his expansion.
Picks up the claws.
What's that?
Picks up the claws, finally.
Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, cool. That class could have really helped, and it could have. But this is just incredible how Neytpoh managed to stay alive for this long, and Keeper with treants level 3... When there's no Dispel. Entangle! He's got nothing to save himself! That's a kill!
The Owl might have been the secret MVP of this fight and this game right now. A level 5 Blade Master, guys. It's a full-on disaster. KnOfF is probably going to be face-palming right here because this is going to take either so much time or so many resources if he wants to go for the Tavern. And this beautiful Great Hall that he worked so hard on getting established is now going to fall. The GG comes through, and sometimes just a tiny, cute little bird wins you the game.
Hedwig, you traitor. Wow. Hey, this was an actually incredible hold by Neytpoh. At some point, he was down to 9 archers and a keeper with no mana and an entangled goldmine that was not currently up. With his alchemist dead, facing a Blade 4, Shadow 4, 50 food army with an orc that had anything to play for. At any time, KnOfF could have dialed it down, taking a counter expansion. He didn't have pillage until the very last moment. He could have had better shaman control. KnOfF did so much right, but too much wrong. And although Neytpoh lost all that mining time on the entangled gold mine early game, he had a crisis management that was from here to Asia. Insane.
Yeah. I mean, we got to give credits to KnOfF. He, unlike Spiral 2 weeks ago, is not considered to be the elite of the orcs in Europe. You know, he's a strong player, no doubt, but Spiral 2 weeks ago, many expected him to take this serious. And I think already KnOfF is showing us close games, at least on the same level as Spiral in this Fight Night competition. So although this game went very unfortunately for him in the end there because of that owl and because that Blade Master loss, he put up one hell of a fight. And I just saw someone in chat, WC3 Rise, saying he's got that bad feeling that KnOfF is going to lose it. So, sometimes when so many things are going well and so many things are going right, there's this tiny piece of doubt within you that says something must go wrong. This is going too well.
Yeah, we have a stream delay, of course, of several minutes, so that's why we have that time delay until we read that comment. So, Rise, prophetic in his words, indeed, it did happen. But yeah, KnOfF lost it little by little. It wasn't any one big thing. Even if the blade hadn't died at the shop, he would have still lost. He was at 30 food versus 65. You can't really marshal an army in time to defend a keeper level 5.5, coming with his 65 food army. So the fight was already done. Neytpoh earned his victory, and that was just icing on the cake.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see the belated reactions in chat. It's probably going to be a lot of lulz and not like this in chat, but, sometimes that's the way it goes. You play strong all game, and then this one moment of not paying enough attention, and you might have to tap out. Guys, game number 4, though. We're having an epic series so far. KnOfF, strong play in game number 1, is currently behind, though, because Neutron seems to have awoken. He's doing really, really well. The score is 2-1. We're going to Twisted Meadows. And we haven't actually seen that in FightNet in a long time. I think it was either banned or not being played on for so long. And this is a very dangerous Night Elf map, isn't it, Grubby?
I think Spiral, it's dangerous for both, I would say. But Night Elf has the ability to prepare pretty evil tactics that are difficult to discover because the map is so large. We saw Spiral, I think, banning Twisted Meadows, if I'm not mistaken, because he didn't want to have to deal with that little Pandora's
and then he got
box.
strangled in Amazonia.
Yeah, Amazonia is like a death trap, and Twisted Meadows is Pandora's box. He chose his poison, and so did KnOfF.
That's very true.
I don't see KnOfF going for the 4x4 hex building against the double tree on the top right of his base. That would indicate he's going for a rock golem pool creep. He has gone for the Farseer. So this is just like how the Korean top orc player Lin does it. Farseer on Twisted Meadows, utilizing the Feral Spirits to get bonus information on a map that is as large as this. It is far easier to continually scout with Feral Spirits to find all the expansions in the world. But here's the thing. Both of his abilities are nearly useless against a Night Elf that ends up teching into Dryads. You might as well pick Farsight 3 times in a row from level 3 to 5 because Chain Lightning doesn't hit Dryads, Feral Spirits feed free experience. So Farseer is almost always either a macro tool besides the scouting and harass component early game. By macro tool I mean if you are against Dryads, he's an information gatherer. You're going to run around the map, killing bases, whatever. Or he is a rush hero. Gotta make it work early or not at all.
Yeah.
And Neytpoh has gone with a keeper inch to 4 creep, and he's probably going to get away with it. This is a very strong opener against against Orc with Farseer because you get the free Troll Shadow Priest so early, which dispels the wolves easy peasy.
That's so good. And then the Farseer really starts to sweat a little bit because he has to dodge Wisps, he has to dodge the Shadow Priest. The wolves, quite frankly, are not going to have a good time. KnOfF still trying to invade a little bit, of course, realizes that he's probably going to be too late. Doesn't have the speed, doesn't have the timing there. Maybe gets...
Steal! He stole the Ogre Warrior with a bite from the Feral Spirit. 48 experience stolen.
That's pretty good. Not enough, unfortunately, to prevent this Keeper from getting level 2. So the Entangle is now here. Brought the Grunt as well. He doesn't even have to surround that Grunt because it's going to go down. But the Shadow Priest is going to fall, so it's going to be a 1 unit for 1 unit exchange. The Keeper barely has enough mana for another Entangle. Might get an Archer, though. And honestly, Grubby, with that experience steal, and might be even... Was it denied?
The Grunt.
Was it denied?
The Grunt.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, Kendric. It was a 1-for-1 trade when he killed the Priest and was going to lose the Grunt. Priest costs 195 gold, 20 lumber. Grunt, 200 gold. That's a fair trade for KnOfF. He will take that anytime. And then he also killed the Archer, and he denied experience on his own Grunt. Farseer is level 1.75 against Keeper 2.1. And he didn't even have to buy all those units and lose all those units. So KnOfF can be very pleased with himself early on. He sees there's still a tier 1. And he is just too late with the... Oh no, he did delay it. What?
Yeah.
He denied the Feral Spirit as well.
Yeah, that's so sick. KnOfF almost playing out of his minds, I would say. He delayed a Moonwell. He forced a little bit of Wisp Micro there. Denied so much precious experience to the Keeper as well. It's just fantastic what he's doing right now. He's got all the vision in the world. He's got perfect read on what the opponent is doing right now. Runs a little bit out of mana. The tier 2 tech is almost completed. So KnOfF, despite going for a relatively risky invade, I would say, just loses a Grunt, and that's it. He didn't really feed anything else to the Keeper. True, he didn't get the item, but that doesn't matter too much. He can get his own level 2 right now. Mercenaries actually playing such a crucial role right now. Both players, by the way, going for those Mercenaries early. Lures the creeps out, by the way, so he can actually shop there. Gets the Troll Berserker right now, and so does Neutron. Neutron, though, does he have the killer instinct? Does he know what the Orc is up to?
Well, he went back for a necessary mana top-up, and by pooling the creeps, KnOfF has made this camp for himself very easy, because the Rock Golem doesn't throw rocks when you first pull it and let it then resume to its original location. And he's got a pretty good item, better I would say than what Neytpoh got. Neytpoh got the Cloak, which is great, and he got the Greater Healing, which is situational, but the Wand of Mana Steel is guaranteed to get some serious value in a Spellcaster versus Spellcaster showdown. KnOfF has gone with a War Mill before he got a second hero or a tech building, which makes me feel he's going to do some kind of weird Tavern Hero tower push. I really don't know. That's a super strange decision to go for War Mill that early.
Yeah, Tavern Heroes are quite rare. No, we're not going to see any of those. The Shadowhunters coming in just a little bit later than normally what we're used to seeing. Orcs are not traditionally known to rely a lot on Tavern Heroes compared to some of the other races, but if it had been a Tower Rush or a maybe Tavern Hero push timing, what would he have gone for? Beastmaster?
I think maybe a Naga or a Tinker would be the most likely choices. But now we can see that KnOfF is going for his expansion, and he's got the early War Mill, and he's going fortified. So he's going to force a tower expansion, I think, bringing 1, 2, or 3 peons to his natural expansion. This is a strange call because generally, well, Neytpoh has, I don't know, he's not bringing any peons yet. So even if that's his plan, this doesn't seem like an efficient plan.
Yeah, and keep in mind, of course, on Twisted Meadows, there's a lot of strong creep camps. You know, it takes a lot of time for KnOfF right now to kill this expansion spot. Enough time for Neutron to gather his forces and scout the Orc player out. Unfortunately, the Keeper is a little bit far behind. Has full mana, though. That's good, almost full mana. That's going to be a lot of entangles. Even the Farseer might be in danger. Goes for the units, though, because he knows that if he entangled the Farseer, it would just TP to safety. So gets 1. Maybe gets 2. Shadowhunter here, Chain Lightning onto the Mercenaries of Neutron. Loses the Berserker, but now we have a 4th hero in the mix. Now the Alchemist is here, focuses onto the unit once again. The poison plus the acid is burning through, but the Berserker is saved. Or is it?
Yeah, he can heal it.
Yeah,
what ability does Shadow have? Because he's not using anything.
So Shadowhunter uses snakes, or has snakes. He hasn't used one, though.
Okay, so this is a super strange type of... He's making a catapult now. He's not using one of the 2 useful abilities, Hex or Heal. He has gone for snakes despite being embroiled in a kind of all versus all type of fight.
Yeah.
Had he had Hex, he would be able to kill Keeper, kill more units. And he's up against Dryads coming up. I like that he saved his Forest Troll Berserker, but he did lose a Priest for free. He lost a Grunt. He killed a few units. He has... KnOfF has decided what to go for, but is being slowed down.
Yeah.
Catapult comes out, and I think his idea in the end is once his burrow finishes, he's going to hire some more mercs and then just go for it. And to be fair, he will have snakes against Dryads, catapults against Dryads, Kendric, but he's been delayed a lot.
Yeah, he's been delayed, and once again, Demolishers are by far not a common unit to use this matchup too much, except if, as you said, Grubby, KnOfF has this idea in mind, you know, to go for a strong timing attack, to have a lot of siege damage and piercing damage from the snakes. But the Alchemist playing with fire here. He gets the big item, though, gets a true shot aura. That's almost like the icing on the cake right now. This is going to be so useful for Neutron. Really finding the right item at the right time. But KnOfF, man, he's going in. The Wisp sees where the Orc forces have deployed right now. The peons are coming through. Peons for the repair on the Demolisher, and maybe for building some towers.
Yeah, for sure. Towers, repair. He's got 2 catapults. He's coming in. He's setting up shop with the snakes. If he can get the Ancient of War, that would be a great help. He's got good position as well. Straight path to the Night Elf base. 2 snakes are down. The first Dryads are coming out. Abolish is available, but he will only be able to use it once or twice. That means the second Wolves will actually be helpful. Neytpoh is very hurt.
So low.
He hasn't used his Moonwells yet to heal, and is losing his Ancient of Lore right away.
Yeah, the Ancient of Lore is down. The Night Elf units, they're only produced out of 1 Ancient of Lore right now. Only 1 Dryad production facility. And KnOfF, what I thought was crazy and haywire, he's about to do it. No more reinforcements coming through. 3 towers in the face of Neutron. The champion is on the line, and everything is here in this game. If KnOfF loses this push, he's going to be out of this game. Look at these Night Elf and heroes. They're furious. They're trying to get this Farseer down. The Shadow Hunter, though, completely untouched. The towers are going through. And where, Grubby? Where is the DPS? Where is the damage for Neutron right now? Look at the Demolishers playing cat and mouse with those archers. There's barely any left. The Dryad is red. Everything is red for Neutron. I think KnOfF might have done it.
Yeah, it looks like it. He's just got enough brute force to make this work. And Neytpoh, he thought he had all the time in the world, but he didn't go back in time to heal. He wasn't really aware of what KnOfF was doing, wasn't bothered about it. And now, even though in the late game he could make it work with Dryads against Wolves, easy peasy, this is too fast, too furious by KnOfF. KnOfF decided it was time for a bit of cheese. I was wondering if it was going to be on time, but it hits with enough strength. And it is on time before the Dryads really got pumped out in numbers. 3 towers come up with fortified defenses.
They're
and it looks like KnOfF is doing it.
Yeah, I think KnOfF has done it. The Swede stays in this series. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to a final ace match. 2-2. And what many thought was impossible. Neutron looking so strong several weeks in a row. So many people doubted KnOfF, said he was the underdog. Just a streamer, you know, not really a pro gamer. He's on the way, you know. He's almost doing it.
Yeah.
So sick.
It was time for a cheese. He used the Farseer. It is the most likely way for games to end for Orc. But it was so much better than when Spiral did it last time because it's a better map for it. He did more creeping with it. And he went for that true all-in with the catapult and the fortified towers. And the funny thing is, Neytpoh really misjudged here. He said, okay, here I'm running around with low health heroes and you're going Farseer and I'm going to get my Dryads with Abolish that will take care of the Wolves. And I see your base. He went into the base, right? Kendric, he saw the base. War Mill, racks, fortified burrows. It couldn't mean anything else except the tower expansion. What did Neytpoh do? Dryads. His Ancient of War is far out in the base and he went tier 3. For Orc of Venom, for Mountain Giants, there was no time for it. Yeah, it's very greedy.
Yeah, very greedy. But then, of course, KnOfF with the spot-on decision, with the perfect timing, coming in with those Demolishers. And I also like the fact that he targeted the right targets at the right time. You know, going straight for the production facilities, wasting no time, making sure that there's no reinforcements for Neutron. And right now, guys, I mean, Neutron said it before in the party chat, in the group chat, nice maps, KnOfF. But now all of his loser maps are going to be played as well. And we're going to... What's the final map?
Northern Isles. Northern Isles coming up. Neytpoh's final loser map. So, in theory, if all things are equal, this is a slightly Night Elf favorite map. However, I feel like this map is pretty neutral, actually. Orcs generally are pretty good against Night Elf on this map. I think in a 50-50 manner. It's not like Twisted Meadows, which ironically, despite being KnOff's choice, is a little bit better for Night Elf usually. No, this is a pretty neutral map. I think it's a very fair final pick for the both of them.
Do you think, Grubby, that the strategy that we just saw from KnOfF, the Demolisher push all in with the towers, do you think that's a strategy that some other Orc players, especially the more competitive ones, I would say, like Spiral, are too afraid of using? Do you think sometimes you just have to have the guts to try something like that?
I agree with your final statement that you should, and only you can ever know whether something like that is going to work. It comes down to feeling and studying your opponent.
Yeah.
If you feel like someone has just inched too far in the direction of greed, take a look at Echo Isles, for instance. Tree of Life after Double Moonwell, no Hunter Soul. If you feel like they're inching too far in that direction, you can do such things without practice, simply with your general comfort level in the game. But I think this might have been a prepared strategy because he had seen Neytpoh's tendencies.
Yeah, and the tendency, of course, is that sometimes Neutron likes to go for his mountain giants, likes to take things a little bit more slowly. And well studied, a little bit of a gamble regardless, but sometimes these big gambles, they pay off, especially when there's so much on the line. Big balls for KnOfF, but it was well rewarded. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going into the final map. Game number 5, Northern Isles. We have Neutron. His championship title is on the line. KnOfF, the underdog, might be just grabbing it away with these burly big arms of his.
Let's see if he can. Can you imagine what's going through their head as they're going through the way that they won their games, lost their games, and what would be the formula for a win in the final map?
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy, and especially because the storyline of this game, right, Grubby? We love our stories. We keep telling you guys that it's great to have banter. It's great to come up with these rivalries, and there was so much fire in this interview. Neutron, so much disrespect, so much shade being tossed towards KnOfF, and KnOfF very humble, tried to deflect it a little bit, and here he is, showing up big time.
Exactly, with a 2-2 score. Now, KnOfF has won one game with a tower push with Farseer Shadow on Twisted Meadows, and he's won one game where he got a cancel on the Tree of Life. And he's lost 2 games where the Tree of Life came up. In one without any issue at all on Concealed Hill, and he lost that one fairly handily, despite still having almost a chance thanks to the Sapper. He has got a good trick in his book to try and make a comeback against an elf that did get their Tree of Life, and it's the Sapper play. And then he lost the Echo Isles game, and Neytpoh won it. Neytpoh got his Tree of Life fairly early, but kept getting his Entangled Goldmine cancelled. So it will be Neytpoh's job to get his expansion without a cancellation, and to protect his Entangled Goldmine better. That will be his goal.
Yeah.
His harass to distract KnOfF has been partially successful. In one game, he got a grunt. In others, he delayed Peon mining and kept Orc busy. But it has also turned against him. His absence of the Keeper at home has allowed his Entangled Goldmine to be perpetually cancelled. So he was going to try and protect that. Whereas KnOfF, he knows that his key to winning in this map will either be a Tree of Life cancel or an Entangled Goldmine kill. Either of those have to happen, which puts a lot of emphasis on the early game, his awareness, and his movement.
Beautifully wrapped up, Grubby. That is exactly what was happening. And we couldn't have imagined a better position to find ourselves in right now, with the Blade Master coming through this time, by the way. No Farseer. Could it be that this was the first time we saw Farseer win on Fight Night? We would have to probably dive deep into the statistics of the previous Orc matchups, but I think it hadn't worked before, has it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think Hitman didn't try it.
He didn't try it?
Tried it once. Which other orcs played? Kiwi played Tavern Heroes.
Oh, I saw it on Ustream, by the way. The Alki first. Yeah. Recently, I can't remember.
That was a show match.
Yeah, dude, against Lil DC, was it?
Yeah, that's true. Decisive game. Just felt pretty good.
It's good times. Lil DC was also someone we had talked about. Maybe we're gonna get him on the show.
That would be cool if he comes out sometime.
Yeah. There's still, it's actually crazy if you think about it, right? How many skilled players we've already had and how many there's still to fetch from Europe. It's such a large talent pool.
We're very lucky and rich to have so many players to entertain us.
Late night entertainment at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to thank you for tuning in. We would like to thank you for following, for cheering the bits. Keep them coming. It's definitely for a good cause to support the players in the community. And all the 2 weeks, man, it's such a pleasure for me to cast this as well. Warcraft 3's big game of mine, a big love. Although I haven't played as much as Grubby, I've been watching and following and supporting as much as I can. So these 2 week intervals are definitely a personal highlight of mine. So thanks, guys, for making it possible.
And he's making up for lost time, ladies and gents. So knowledgeable. Does a lot of hard work behind the scenes, studying up on games, and I think you can tell. The score is updated. Chat is delayed, of course, so we are all good. It's 2-2 final map, and the Blade Master has crept to level 1.6.
Yep.
It's going onto the map, but is getting caught by the Keeper, who has a Wand of Mana Steel, a second Entangle available, a Treant, and an Archer. That Grunt is dead. The only thing KnOfF could hope for is to self-kill his Grunt.
Oh, is he going to do it?
And he does!
clean, very clean. I mean, that's actually the third time he does it in the previous game. And once again, these little details, they all shape up. We saw that with the Farseer, you know, denying even a feral spirit. It can make so much of a difference, even denying a wolf. So good. And KnOfF, we have to give it to them, you know. He didn't feel comfortable playing this late. He was not sure if he could do it. He was feeling a little bit tired. But here he is with lightning speed reflex, denying units, hovering around the map quite nicely here. And once again, Blade Master control almost immaculate, I would say. This is really a pleasure to watch him.
Hey, you wonder, right? Grunt is dead. He can't escape it. Why do you send your Blade? To kill his own Grunt.
Now we see him chase down the Keeper of the Grove. The powder was actually taken by Neutron. This is nice. Yeah. The dust is really nice because not only does he have something against the Keeper now, against the Blader, sorry, but also, of course, he denies the Blade Master to get some hidden units from the Night Elf, so double value.
Now, Neytpoh has up to 3 entangles. 1, then Wand of Mana Steal a second, and then he'll be close to a third. But without mana for treants, he lacks the DPS to take down this blade on time. He does have dust, but he is his entangle 30 mana away, actually. Yeah, he's actually getting enough damage on the blade. I thought Blade was going to be able to cancel it, but he doesn't have that second circlet. With second circlet, maybe he gets it, but now he won't.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky. He was able to inflict a little bit of damage there, so maybe that's going to come back later when Neutron is actually creeping the spot. But for now, this expansion looks rather safe. He's going back now with the Grunts, starting some creeping there on the left-hand side. Goes for a consumable with those Tuskars. Could find a greater healing or a greater mana, ideally for the Shadowhunter second. So let's see what it's going to be.
I wouldn't underestimate Wand of Mana Steal. It's my hope to, actually, against Keeper. Long this item was maligned and misjudged and underrated, but steal some mana from the Keeper. He's going to get the greater heal, totally fine. Steal mana from the Keeper and throttle some of that spell casting that he was able to do.
Yeah, very true. On multiple races, actually, this item is so nice. You know, humans, we have MK, great item on him. Undeads love it for the DK and the Lich. So definitely a slipped item on, almost in the same vein as rings. You know, I think a lot of these items that have been frowned upon for the majority of time are now seeing a little bit of limelight.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. Mana Steal steals 50 mana twice. That's 100 mana steal. That's a 200 mana transference from them to you. A 200 mana advantage. Mana Pot, the same purchase cost as Wand of Mana Steal is in sale, only gives you 150 mana and does not interact with your opponent, does not steal, does not ruin their plan. So Wand of Mana Steal is much better than a Mana Pot, but they're the same cost if you sell it and then you buy a Mana Pot. To basically lose 50 mana in value and not interact with your opponent. This is something that happened a lot in the pro scene of Warcraft. People sell the steal and then they just buy a Mana Pot. There are some reasons for it. It's a bigger donation of mana to yourself immediately, 150 instead of 50 then 50. So there is something to be said for it, but overall, Mana Steal is underrated.
And players oftentimes debate it when they see it.
Loving the memes.
Gotta toss a little bit of something of that in there every now and then. For now, though, the Blade Master is finally scouting this expansion. Probably tries to maybe go for another cancel on the Entangled Goldmine. There is an owl, though. We need to be careful of those now, Mr. KnOfF.
It's different now. Keeper gets a staff. He also has a dust, but he sold Crystal Orb. So now with the dust and that owl there, he has to go away. Entangle, too threatening. It does mean that Keeper lost a bit of momentum. Had Blade not done that, the Keeper would have moved onto the Shadowhunter already, and Shadow would not be level 1.9. And this has also given KnOfF superior positioning on the Goblin Shot, getting the heal scroll that Neytpoh would have loved to have. Yeah. Nonetheless, Neytpoh has started to mine from his expansion. 4 wisps are coming in, and that is that. Keeper now has a backstab position on the Orc base, whereas KnOfF is still looking for that little bit of thing that can complete him and give his Shadow level 2.
And these owls are everywhere. The trees, they're watching. KnOfF right now feeling a little bit paranoid, of course, but Neutron, knowing exactly what his opponent is up to, tries to go for a little bit of a snipe here, but the Fortified Burrow already saving the day, refusing the Night Elf to get access to the base. Nice item, by the way, on the Keeper. We have the Lion Horn of Stormwind, extra armor on those Huntresses and especially the Archers. Always appreciate it.
Very good, but let me point out the indecision by KnOfF. he had the perfect setup to ignore the attack and creep the Troll 6, which he finally is doing, but with a delay of 20 seconds
late, yeah.
due to indecision. He gets Book of the Dead, which is a dead item against Night Elf. No pun intended, because he can be dispelled by wisps.
Yeah. And now this indecision, it's costing a lot of time, and most importantly, it's costing peon lives, Grubby. One peon after the other is falling. The Night Elves bouncing blades on the glaives, they're just pouncing through, and even if he gets that archer, it's well worth it, you know. The burrow has fallen, so many peons, lost mining time, lost harvesting right now. I mean, orcs are not that lumber dependent, but it's still going to be experience that it gave over, momentum that's now a neutron side, and this indecision that was shown by KnOfF, as you pointed out perfectly, has really cost him a lot of economy.
KnOfF also lost 5 peons due to bad peon control.
He tried to go for it, but then it didn't work out that well.
Well, yeah, but it was not very clean. He's now expanding while remaking a burrow, so this is like a 50-foot attack that is not designed to win, but to deal damage. Let's see if he can do it. He's already down 10 food in terms of army, and he's coming up with an expansion, but he's forgotten a shaman, which is at home. Shadow is only level 2. He's got a heal scroll, but no invul, and Keeper is level 4.
Yeah,
and there's
just too much Night Elf mass at this point. The Huntresses are not hurt or anything. The Alchemist is there as well, has a Scroll of Protection if need be. Combine that with a Lion Horn, and there's going to be an abundance of armor. Not enough Shamans, as you said. One was even at the base. There's still Initiates, so if they purge some of those trees, they're pretty much going to be dry on mana.
Yeah, still Initiates. No Lightning Shield, low mana. And KnOfF currently does not have a shop, and he hasn't remade it yet. I think he's about to do so, and that's the last of his lumber. He needs to remake peons. No, he's not making a shop. So any of these units that get hurt, he doesn't have a single heal solve. That grunt that's hurt, it's gonna remain hurt.
Yeah, and this really puts a lot of pressure onto the shoulders of KnOfF. You know, is he going to go for an all-in attack? Is he going to just try to sit and defend next to the expansion that he's going to build up right now? He's going for the ladder. There's no healing on hurt units, as Grubby pointed out. He has a healing scroll, and that's about it. If he somehow maintains shop control, maybe he can buy another one. Going to come up in roughly a minute or so. Level 3 now, level 2 healing wave. Definitely going to help out as well. And the shop, where is he going to build it? He built it... Oh, he hasn't actually built one. Still no shops, neither at the expansion nor in the main base.
Yes, and he has the lumber and the gold for it and the peons, but he's simply forgetting that he lost it in that attack. The correct place to build it would be between his two bases. He doesn't have it. It means no mana pot, no clarity, no heal solve, no speed scroll. He's on a 50-food army. Neytpoh is knocking on the door. Knock, knock. Who's there? 70-food Night Elf army. Yeah. And KnOfF has no choice but to let him in.
Very, very scary is that attack that's about to trickle in onto the Orc base here. KnOfF, I think he's probably smelling something is up. The Night Elf hasn't really shown himself for a long period of time, so he knows that the Night Elf Neutron has been amassing tier 1 units right now. He's in low upkeep, 70 out of 70 food, and he's about to knock on the door of KnOfF, who is... Everything's on the line here. This next fight between the two players could basically decide who walks away as the victor and who goes down as the loser. Let's see if this all-in decision is already going to come out. So many trees, by the way. 6 is the number of those summoned units right now. The Shamans, Adept, good mana household, and no Wisp nearby to actually detonate. So this could be the one thing for KnOfF in his favor.
Yeah, not bad position for KnOfF, actually. In come the illusion huntresses. Does he remember which ones are illusions? No purge yet on them. Oh, there we go. Double purge.
Nice.
No lightning shield from the Blade Master yet. He does have a greater healing potion.
There we
go with the lightning shield.
Double lightning shield. There's a big entangle onto the Blade Master, prevents him from attacking right now. Now he's attacking the Keeper, drops a relatively puny crit here. Another lightning shield, so huge. Neutron though, so much damage coming through. The protection scroll still huge. The Alchemist in the front line has an invul, can tank a little bit more, heals the hurt Huntresses right now, but the Shamans are unhurt. The Serpent Ones are doing a lot of work, and the Blade Master, could he be the once again with a big healing, the tip on the scale that drops the game in favor of KnOfF? Another big crit. The Huntresses are being forced to run away. A staff coming through from Neutron. The mistakes he made earlier, losing the Alchemist, shall not be repeated for now.
This is incredible. That's about the best position KnOfF could possibly have gotten, and he used it for all it was worth. Remembering which Huntresses were illusions and purging them. Getting a lightning shield on the blade. having any auto attack Night Elf archer being able to focus the blade, because the blade showed himself and kept showing himself, was really important. He's got a good armor class, so you want to be able to take as much damage as you can with the blade, and that's why his grunts were surviving. The lightning shield was doing good. He didn't overcast lightning shield either, one on the outwards grunt, one on the blade, and it dealt so much damage. And Neytpoh, without a TP, was unable to extricate himself from a situation that didn't look as good as his mind's eye had made him believe. Now, second fight, going for the keeper. There is a potion of invulnerability, though.
Big one. Once again, another protection scroll coming immediately for the Night Elf, and this time KnOfF knows he does not have the health, he does not have the numbers. He almost got baited by the invisible Night Elven units, only saw the heroes, didn't know how many units were there to protect them, and he walks back and has to heal a little bit here. And Grubby, yeah, that last attack with Wisps maybe detonating into the heroes, into the shamans, this could have been a little bit of a different fight, but this time, Neutron didn't bring them.
Yeah, it would have made all the difference. The lack of wisps really showed. It's nice when you can actually cast spells. Now Huntresses going for the Great Hall a bit, but KnOfF ready to scramble to its defense. Keeper has a lot of mana. 2 entangles, 3 maybe. No heal scrolls for KnOfF. That fight that he had earlier was bolstered by a heal scroll. Neytpoh doing a lot of damage.
Very true. Shop control so important right now. We see the healing scrolls doing so much work. The Huntress numbers are still largely scaling. Some archers coming into the backline now as well to support with the damage as well. The Blade Master dropping dangerously low. Has no more protection. The Entangle goes through as well. And that is the level up for the Alchemist as well. Is KnOfF going to crumble underneath the pressure of Neutron, who's trying to make the final attack? Level 5 Keeper of the Grove. The GG comes up, and the Night Elven champion remains the victor of Fight Night for now. What a close series, though. I think it's safe to say, Grubby, that this series was one of the best ones we've ever had so far. What a back and forth.
Yeah, fantastic game there. Neytpoh initially crashing upon a rock that just wouldn't split with his pressure. 70 food against 58, and he's coming with this giant army. And a great position turned into an okay position, turned into a bad position. And most of all, like you said, Kendric, I think it's really the single point that made that difference. No wisps were brought.
Yeah.
He had so much forward momentum. He was so busy with following KnOfF, who tried to creepjack him somewhere, who tried to meet him out in the open. And in that chase, he never thought of the wisps, those little wisps. And he nearly lost that fight. But he rallied himself. He set a trap at the shop. And I think the trap at the shop, it didn't lead to a lot of kills. He got maybe 1 unit, but it created chaos. You know what KnOfF did when he ran away from Neytpoh? He lightning shielded his own Shadow Hunter.
Yes, I saw that.
It's a mistake. I was thinking, is that actually by Neytpoh? But it lasted so long. Only the Shaman's lightning shield lasts that long. And he never removed it. He ended up doing so much damage to himself when he was running back. And now suddenly he's running with his tail between his legs. And there was no reason to risk a fight like that. He finally equalized the economy after decisively winning a fight that you would normally expect to lose. He has the same economy. You can run around with Blade is quite risky because of Sentinels and Entangle. And that's the risky part. He didn't have information. But you can always make 1 Witch Doctor from the Spirit Lodge and just put down a Sentry Ward. And that really allows you to breathe more easily. But he didn't. He took his whole army, ran into Neytpoh. And Neytpoh, that's what he was waiting for. He's such a calm and collected player, and he just waited for KnOfF to make a mistake despite not knowing how to win anymore, and he got it in that way.
I think Neutron, he sweated way more in this series than he thought. But once again, also the armor, I think, on the Night Elf army. You know, we mentioned the Lionhorn. We mentioned the protection scrolls over and over. These units, I think, were a little bit too beefy. Even the Snake Wards couldn't pierce through. Even the Blade Master had much more trouble this time dealing with all those Night Elf units than in the previous games. So it literally was just these tiny little details. Sometimes no wisps, sometimes good shop control, buying the right items at the right time that made all the difference. And it's safe to say that this one fight near the Orc expansion in Northern Isles, it seemed almost unwinnable for KnOfF, but he made it happen somehow. So he's shown some stellar Orc play, great micro, and he doesn't have to go home with a bad feeling. I think he can keep his head up high, broad shoulders. I mean, he's got them anyways. You couldn't even hide his shoulders even if you wanted to. But yeah, he's shown some great Orc play today.
Yeah, and maybe we'll have him back sometime. He was certainly a worthy contender.
Yeah.
Great sportsmanship between the players. And Neytpoh, for now though, will stand and reign supreme, and we're gonna have to look for a player that can give Neytpoh as good of a match as KnOfF just did.
Yeah, and there's some rumors, guys, that there's another player that Neutron has a special score to settle with. Grubby and I talked about it already. We're not gonna. Should we mention it? I mean, we haven't confirmed
Let's
it yet,
just mention it.
Let's just.
I mean,
you have the
yeah.
honor, Grubby. Go for it.
It's not confirmed yet, you say?
It's not confirmed.
Have you talked to him yet?
No, but we will after this series.
Well, I don't think we should say it then, if it's not confirmed.
Yeah. Let's save it until it's confirmed. But there is a silent challenge offered and issued by Neutron.
Can you give the URL of a Twitter that will announce who it's going to be, so we can let them know like tomorrow or the day after, so they can follow it somewhere?
Absolutely. You can check out either my own Twitter. I usually am very active these days when it comes to Warcraft 3 things. And of course, the HeroesHearth Warcraft 3. Just go for Twitter. I think it's actually /HeroesHearth Warcraft 3. WC3, of course, instead of the full word. So
we'll link it in the chat by the time
exactly
the delay catches up.
Yeah. And guys, that is basically all we have to say for now. You have been amazing as an audience. The support was real. We cracked the 10K bits goal. So the players will be very happy about that. We actually have 100 on top of that. Grubby and I'm pretty sure we had an amazing time casting these games for you. They were nail biters, super close from start to finish. And we're already looking forward to the next rival, to the next challenger. In 2 weeks from now, who's going to have a little bit of a scuffle with Neutron. We're going to try to provide you with the best content possible, even while the downtime is there, with replay analysis, some interviews, and stuff like that. So keep an eye out for HeroesHearth Warcraft 3 content in the future. And the final words, as always, go to Grubby, and then we're going to send you off.
Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend already. We do and hope you enjoyed this fight night. The next one will be in 2 weeks from now. So make sure, if you haven't already, to turn on your notifications in your Twitch settings, if you want to, and follow this channel. And then you'll know when this next is live. More Warcraft 3 content coming to you. Enjoy your weekend and see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.